You are still breathing. You are still standing. You are still capable. You still have 6 months left in this year. Don't you dare think it's too late. Don't you dare close the book of your life in the middle of the chapter, because Allah kept you alive for a reason, because there are doors written with your name on them, because there is a version of you waiting at the finish line, but it needs you to start moving. You say the year is halfway over, but I say it's halfway available. You say too much time is gone, but I say enough time remains. Listen, the psychology of motivation says that human beings don't change their lives by chance, by clarity. They change by courage. They change by consistent action. According to Dr. Kelly McGonigal in The Willpower Instinct, willpower is not a gift you're born with. It is a muscle that grows with purpose. The Prophet Muhammad said, actions are judged by intentions. That is psychology right there. That is neuroscience right there. When your niyyah is pure, when your purpose is clear, your brain changes, your behavior changes, your heart opens, and the world responds in his book, Atomic Habits. James Clear proved that tiny, consistent improvements, even just 1% a day, can turn your life around in months. He calls it the power of compounding habits. What does Allah say? Whoever comes to me walking, I will come to him running. Now that is divine compounding. That is transformation. Don't say it's too late. Don't say you're behind. Don't say others are ahead. They are not your competition. Your only competition is your past self. Your 6 months begin. Now your second half begins today, and this is not about motivation that fades. This is about transformation that lasts. This is about burning excuses until there's nothing left but results, because the prophet Reverted was not given a 60-year plan. He was given revelation one moment at a time, and in 23 years, he changed the world. You don't need more time. You need more intention. You need more sincerity. You need more courage. According to Dr. Carol Dweck's mindset, the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not intelligence, is not talent. It's the belief that growth is always possible, that failure is not. Final, that progress is never wasted, and in Islam, we are told even the intention to act is written as a reward. So what's stopping you? What are you waiting for? Do not wait for motivation to strike you. You create it with movement. You create it with salah. You create it with tears and sujood. You create it with the dua that starts with nothing. It ends with everything. And understand this from a psychological perspective. Your brain does not care if you fail. Before your brain is neuroplastic, which means it can literally rewire itself. But only if you give it new experiences, new thoughts, new actions. Allah will not change your condition until you change what is in yourself. 6 months is not a deadline. 6 months is an opportunity, a battlefield, a doorway, a blank canvas, and you hold the pen so right, a better ending walk into the second half of 2025, like someone who knows their Lord is watching, like someone who knows nothing is too big for Allah, like someone who knows the best days of their life haven't happened yet. You may have wasted time. With Allah is never wasted, even if you start with repentance, even if you start with one prayer, even if you start with one page of Quran. That one drop can overflow the ocean, because sincerity is weightier than the world. There are people who will be born and die this year, but you are still here, which means you are still chosen. So don't look back. Don't get stuck. Don't say, yeah, I'll try, say Bismillah and walk forward. Because if you give the rest of 2025 your best, it can still be your comeback year, healing year, your breakthrough year, your peace year, your growth year, your gratitude year, your forgiven year, your year of becoming, not because the calendar changes, but because you change. And now, if you are ready, if you are serious, if you want to reclaim your 25, then commit to these 5 principles, these 5 reminders, these 5 awakenings. 1, intentional start means you don't wake up and wait for life to happen. You decide your direction before the day begins. You set your niyyah, intention. Before you take your first step, you don't live by default, you live by design in Islam. The very foundation of action, the Prophet Muhammad literally said, verily, actions are judged by intention, and every person will have what they intended. Bukhari in Muslim. This is not just a spiritual principle. It is also a psychological law. Your brain filters reality based on what it expects. And what it intends, this is called the reticular activating system, RAS, when you set a clear intention. The RAS focuses your attention on things aligned with that purpose. You start noticing opportunities. You start acting with direction. You are not wandering. You are aiming in the 7 habits of highly effective people. Stephen Covey emphasizes, I begin with the end in mind. This is the essence of intentional start before the action. Define the outcome before the effort. Clarify the reason in thinking fast and slow. Daniel Kahneman discusses how human behavior is dominated by automatic habits. But when we engage deliberate thinking, we activate system 2, that's the thoughtful. Intentional self, the moment you start your day with a conscious plan and a clear spiritual nia, you override default settings. You take control of the wheel now. Combine this with your connection to Allah when you begin anything with Bismillah, when you wake with a dua, when you perform Fajr with awareness, when you say, yeah, Allah, guide me today, protect me, bless my time. You are creating spiritual alignment. You are inviting barakah into your time. Barakah is not magic. Barakah is the result of divine alignment between your intention and Allah's mercy. And no, this intentional start doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be sincere. You can wake up tired. You can feel overwhelmed. But if you take one conscious breath and say, today, I will not waste what Allah gave me. That one line can redirect your entire life. Practical example. Before starting work, say, yeah, Allah, let this be a source of risk that pleases you before you scroll your phone. Ask, is this helping or hurting my akira? Before you speak, check, is this word for Allah or against him? Intentional start makes your day sacred. It transforms routine into worship, and it gives your time power because people don't get burnt out from doing too much. They burn out from doing too much without meaning, and when you reconnect to why you're doing it, even the hardest tasks become worship. Even the smallest efforts become heavy on the scale of deeds. So if you want the next 6 months of 2025 to be different, start each day with intention. Start each day with Allah, and watch how the day starts serving you instead of you chasing it blindly. That is intentional start. It is clarity. It is purpose. It is power 2. Discipline over motivation means you stop waiting to feel like it because feelings are unreliable, but principles are not, you see. Motivation is an emotion. It comes and it goes. It's like the wind. It might lift you today and disappear tomorrow, but discipline is a decision of muscle. System and the most successful people in the world, whether in dunya or akhirah, did not build greatness on mood. They built it on commitment in the war of art. Stephen Pressfield says, the amateur waits for inspiration. The professional shows up. That's discipline. That's maturity. That's the realization that your purpose is more important than your feelings. In psychology, this is known as delay of gratification. The famous Stanford marshmallow experiment showed that children who learned to delay pleasure were more likely to succeed in life. Decades later, that is discipline. Choosing what you want most over what you want now. And our prophet Muhammad, the best example of discipline in history, he woke up for Fajr. Every day of his life, he fasted regularly. He stood in Qiyam. While his feet swelled, he spoke only truth. Even when surrounded by lies, he smiled even when insulted. Not because it felt good every time, but because he was on a mission. He had a message. He was fueled by taqwa, not feelings. And this is what we need to understand. Motivation is for moments. Discipline is for life. In Atomic Habits, James Clear says, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. What does that mean? It means your daily routine matters more than your passion. Your habits shape, your identity shapes your outcome. You may feel pumped one day and dead tired the next. That's normal. But if you've built discipline, you will pray when you don't feel like it. You will study when your brain says rest. You will say no when your nafs says yes. And that is where real transformation happens, Allah says in the Quran. As for the one who fears standing before his Lord and restrains his soul from its desires, then indeed paradise will be his home. Surah Naziat 40:41. What is this teaching? That resisting the nafs, holding yourself accountable, is the key to Jannah. That's not motivation. That's discipline, that's strength of will, that's building a life. Not based on what's easy, but based on what's right. And here's the truth. Discipline is not always loud, it's silent, it's the quiet decision. When no one's watching, it's praying Isha. When your body says sleep, it's closing the haram tab. It's choosing Quran over Netflix. It's doing the uncomfortable thing because your soul deserves peace more than your ego deserves pleasure. And you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. Because in Islam, Allah loves the consistent, not the extreme. The Prophet letter Refaga said, the most beloved of deeds to Allah are those that are done consistently, even if they are small. Vapori and Muslim. So build a life on discipline. Make salah non-negotiable. Make self-control your standard. Make daily effort your default. Let people say you're too strict. Let your nafs scream a little eventually. Your nafs will obey your brain, will adapt your body, will align because you didn't wait for the mood you trained. The muscle discipline makes freedom possible. In 6 months of 2025 is more than enough time to train your mind, to tame your nafs, to choose what Allah loves, even when it's hard. And that is when your life will change, not in the moment of motivation, but in the moment of obedience. Discipline is not punishment. It is mercy, it is maturity, it is power 3. You may have strong willpower, you may have the best intentions, you may even have deep motivation and discipline. But if your environment is toxic, if your surroundings pull you backward, if your circle drags you to sin, then you will struggle more than you need to, because willpower is not enough. When the battlefield is against you, psychology teaches us one of the most powerful laws of behavior. Environment influences identity in atomic habits. James Clear says, environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. You don't rise above your environment, you adapt to it. You blend into it, you unconsciously copy it. If the people around you waste time, you will start wasting time. If your room is cluttered, your mind will be chaotic. If your feed is full of nonsense, your thoughts will reflect it. If you're friends normalize sin, you will feel strange choosing righteousness. And this is why in Islam, company is everything. The Prophet Muhammad latrine shaykh upon the religion of his close friend. So let one of you look at whom he befriends. Termini, look at that. He didn't say your beliefs, said your friends define your beliefs. Your environment becomes your religion. That's how powerful it is. You cannot expect to grow spiritually while being surrounded by spiritual pollution. You cannot expect to grow emotionally. Living in emotional toxicity, you cannot build Jannah goals in a dunya-driven atmosphere. Even trees need clean soil to grow. Even fish need clean water to survive. And you need clean environments to thrive, according to Dr. David McClellan from Harvard. 95% of your success or failure in life is determined by the people you habitually associate with. That's not a small percentage, that's almost your entire future, if you're trying to heal. But everyone around you only talks about drama and dunya. You will stay stuck if you're trying to become more focused. But your phone is full of distraction, and your home is full of noise. You will constantly lose momentum. So you have to take it seriously. Clean your space, edit your social media, curate your circle. Be intentional about what enters your ears, your eyes, and your heart. Even in Islam, we are told to leave sinful places when Allah speaks about the people of taqwa. He says they are those who, when they pass by ill speech, pass by with dignity. Surah Al-Furqan 72, they don't argue in those spaces. They don't linger in those circles. They walk away, because your soul deserves peace and your future deserves protection. And don't think this is weakness. Even the Prophet made Hira. He left Makkah to build a new environment in Medina, because when the environment became hostile to faith, even the most righteous had to migrate, because faith is not just internal, it is nurtured by what's external too. So if you're serious about the next 6 months change, what's around you? Build a room that feeds your ruck, clean your phone of time wasters. Sit in the masjid, more walk with people who remind you of Allah. Disconnect from what drains you, reconnect with what builds you. The Prophet Letha said, the example of a good companion and a bad companion is like the seller of musk and the blacksmith. Bukhari and Muslim, a good companion either gives you perfume or you leave smelling better. A bad companion burns you, or you leave with black stains. Your environment is either your fertilizer or your poison. And your future, your goals, your acura will grow in the soil you choose today, so protect. Your space curate, your circle design your surroundings because environment shapes destiny forward. You cannot fix what you don't face. You cannot grow from what you never measure, and you will never reach your destination if you refuse to check the map. Daily accountability is not about perfection. It is about awareness. It is about taking responsibility for your soul before your soul is taken. The Prophet Muhammad said, the intelligent person is the one who holds himself accountable and works for what comes after death. And the foolish one is he who follows his desires and places false hope in Allah. Eternity, that's daily accountability to sit with your soul every day and ask, what did I do for my akira today? What did I waste? What did I build? Where did I fall? Where did I stand back up? Psychologically, this is the foundation of self-regulation. Dr. Roy Baumeister, one of the leading researchers in self-control, says awareness is the first step to self-mastery. You cannot manage what you never monitor. People who track their action, people who journal their habits, people who review their goals grow exponentially faster than those who don't. This is also why in productivity science we're told, you know what gets measured? If you want better prayers, track your prayers. If you want more Quran, write how much you read. Read if you want less sin. Identify your weak moments. You do not need to judge yourself, but you do need to witness yourself, because the nafs loves to forget it, loves to justify it. But when you can hold it accountable, it shrinks and your rod rises. Imam al-Ghazali said in the Ulum al-Din, know that the key to self-discipline is constant vigilance and self-examination. You must take yourself to account like a business partner would in a daily audit. That's the Islamic way, daily muhasabah, a daily spiritual audit. The companions of the Prophet used to say, hold yourselves accountable before you are held accountable, and weigh your deeds before they are weighed for you. Umar ibn al-Khattab Index. So instead of just hoping your year gets better, track your prayers. Did I pray all 5 today? Track your focus. How much time did I waste? Track your tongue. Did I gossip or backbite today? Feel envy. Did I say alhamdulillah? Not to punish yourself, but to wake yourself up, because change doesn't happen once a month. It happens in the quiet choices you make every single day. Daily accountability keeps your purpose alive. It reminds you that your time is not free. It reminds you that your habits are shaping your akira. It reminds you that even when no one is watching, Allah is watching. And when your soul knows this, starts living differently. Even in the Quran, Allah asks us over and over, did you think? Did you reflect? Have you not considered? Why? Because reflection is a command. It is the beginning of Tawbah. It is the engine of growth. You do not need to be extreme. You do not need to be perfect, but you must be honest. Take 5 minutes every night, ask yourself, was I better than yesterday? Did I disobey Allah? Did I remember Him? Did I waste what He gave me? And if the answer hurts, make a plan. Make dua and start again tomorrow. Daily accountability isn't a burden. It's a blessing. It keeps your soul awake. It keeps your journey clean, and it brings you closer to Jannah, one honest moment at a time. And if you hold yourself accountable in this dunya, you were not created to chase this world. You were not created to impress people. You were not created to grind your body into exhaustion, chasing a false sense of worth. You were created for one purpose only: to know Allah, to love Him, to worship Him, to walk through this life holding His rope tighter than anything else. Divine connection first means your relationship with Allah comes before your schedule, before your ambitions, before your deadlines, before your goals, before your emotions. Because everything you're chasing, every ounce of peace, every dream, every solution, every form of healing, not out there. It is in your connection with Arman. When Allah is with you, you can go through storms and still feel calm when Allah is close. Your soul can be shaken by pain, but never shattered by it. And when Allah is distant, even luxury feels empty. Even success feels heavy. Even smiles feel fake. The Quran says, whoever turns away from my remembrance, for him is a life of hardship. Surah Taha 21:24. And modern psychology confirms this. Dr. Martin Seligman, the father of positive psychology, says, people who lack meaning in their lives suffer from greater anxiety, depression, And burnout, he says that a spiritual framework is one of the strongest protectors of mental health. That's because your heart was created to be connected to something greater, and nothing is greater than Allah. When you put Allah first, you don't lose anything, you gain clarity. Because life is not random anymore. It's guided, it's protected, it's full of purpose. Even in pain, when you put Allah first, your daily life becomes an act of worship. Your work becomes sadaqah. Your rest becomes a beta. Even your silence becomes powerful. And here's the truth. You will never have time for Allah. You must make time. Be mindful of him, and you will find him before you. Termity. Imagine that finding Allah before the problem hits. That's the power of divine connection. It's not just about salah. It's about love, about longing, about making Allah your safe place, about turning your whispers into deed, about living this life with Allah, not just for Allah. If you build that bond, if you nurture that closeness, no matter what happens in the next 6 months, you will survive. You will grow, you will rise, because the one who controls the future is already holding your hand. That is divine connection. First, not last. Not when everything else fails first, because everything starts with him and everything returns to him. So now, here we are, 6 months left in this year, half the calendar gone, half still remaining. And maybe right now you're thinking, I cannot really change. Is it too late? Have I wasted too much? Am I even capable of becoming that better version of me? And to that, I say this. Yes, you can rise. Yes, you can change. Yes, you can break years of bad habits. Yes, you can get closer to Allah than you've ever been in your life. Yes. Even now, even if you've fallen 1,000 times, even if you're behind, even if the year didn't start how you wanted, even if people have written you off, because Allah has not written you off. Not yet. You are still breathing, which means the door of repentance is still open. The door of effort is open. The door of barakah is still open. And Allah doesn't care how late you start. He cares how sincerely you begin. He doesn't demand perfection. He asks for effort. He doesn't expect you to sprint. He asks you to step. And the most beautiful part is when you step toward him, he runs towards you. Whoever comes to me walking, I go to him running. Hadith Qudsi. So what are we waiting for? 6 months is not small. 6 months is enough time to write a new chapter. 6 months is enough time to rewrite your story. 6 months is enough time to go from sin to sujud, from wasted days to intentional living, from chaos to clarity, from laziness to discipline, from distraction to divine connection. But you must decide, you must become intentional, you must build systems, not just dreams. You must protect your environment, you must hold yourself accountable daily, and above all, you must place Allah at the center of it all. You must wake up and say, Ya Allah, I give you my time. I give you my time. I give you my fear. I give you my goals. I give you this heart. And I trust that you will guide me to what's best. That door alone could change the entire course of your year. So don't underestimate what Allah can do with a sincere heart. Don't underestimate what you can become with the right plan. You were not created to crawl. You were not created to settle. You were created for Jay. Toward it, even if you spent years walking away from it. Do you want to know what success looks like? It's not a perfect life. It's not a flawless record. It's not people clapping for you. Success is dying with a clean heart and a forgiven soul. Success is standing on the day of judgment and seeing Allah smile at you. Success is knowing that you tried, that you showed up, that you fought your nafs, that you didn't let the dunya win, and maybe you don't know where to begin. Here, begin today. Begin with one sincere sajda, 1 minute of Quran, one intentional choice, and let the rest follow. Because when you take one step, Allah takes 10 when you come with mistakes. He comes with mercy when you come with mercy. Tears, he comes with comfort when you come broken. He comes with healing. So start not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, start now. Before time slips away, before shaitan distracts you again, before another 6 months pass you by. This is your moment. This is your reset. This is your divine wake-up call. If you make the rest of this year count, if you prioritize your soul, if you discipline your time, if you build the right surroundings, if you hold yourself accountable daily, and most importantly, if you put Allah first, then by the end of this year, you won't just look back at 2025 as a good year. You will look back at it as the year you came back to life, the year you started walking toward Jannah, the year your soul began to breathe again, the year your story changed forever. Bismillah, it begins now.